Josh Widdicombe podcast. XFM.
Good morning, Josh Widdicombe here. That is Young Folks by Peter, Bjorn and John, and before that Biffy Clyro. And this is XFM. I am joined here by my producer Neil.
Morning.
Almost called you Peter because of Peter, Bjorn and John there. It wouldn't have mattered. Would you have been offended?
I probably would have responded.
It's always difficult. Yeah, I know everyone's got a favourite Beatle, but who's your favourite out of Peter, Bjorn and John?
I think Bjorn, for the exotic nature of his name.
I don't think they should have put him in the middle because he's got the most interest. The other two, they've gone, Bjorn, you've got an interesting name, maybe we could make this a selling point of the band. And then you've got Peter and John that's quite run-of-the-mill. Well, they're Scandinavian, presumably.
Yeah, I think they
were. They were. And obviously their other big hit was...
The album that came from was quite good.
The album that came from was quite... My friend used to do their PR, actually.
Really?
As an aside, yeah. And look how that went through. He said his first job was he went, so the band's called Peter, Steve and John. Do you think we should change one of your names to make it more interesting? Steve, you're going to have to take the hit. So welcome to XFM this morning. We'll have all the usual stuff. We can say that now because we've bedded in. Mm-hmm. And we'll have all the usual stuff and some stuff that we haven't done before. That's the general way radio should work, has always worked, and will work this morning.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
I was talking about Peter, Bjorn and John because I know what the public wants. And I said that my friend formerly was their PR, mm-hmm. And I caught myself and thought, just to make it clear, that's not a lie. I'm not trying to impress you. That is true. And then I realised it sounds like I'm bragging, but with the lamest brag of all time. And it should be we should make a list of these as part of a feature called really weak claims to fame that I make on my XFM show.
Just rolls off the tongue.
I want you to keep a list of them, a log. Can you think of any previous ones?
You did the guy. What was the I Am Clute one? We can make them into a league table. You know I like a league table. Yep. So currently we've got, I know someone who used to do the PR for Peter, Bjorn and John. Slightly second to, I used to work in a branch of Waterstones where the singer from I Am Clute had worked previously but didn't overlap with me. So if you can think of any more that I've dropped in, please use them. Talking of fame, I met one of my heroes this week. There's a link. And David Baddiel. Do you know David Baddiel? Yes.
Know David Baddiel.
No, I know who he is, yeah.
From fantasy football and all kinds of things. I had a gig and he was on in the same room after me, and he was a lovely man. The pressure I feel when I meet someone I have respect for is astonishing. I'm not feeling it at the moment, Neil. I'm not going to lie to you.
Thanks.
But you presumably in your job you've met people you're in awe of.
Yeah.
And that it's not that I want them to be nice people; it's that I don't want to make a tit of myself in front of them. Mm-hmm. That's the utter fear. I'm kind of crippled by that fear, and I can never kind of perform with the kind of levels of chat me and you have on a day-to-day basis. But it's never really gone wrong for me. So I want to do a phone in. You know you never meet your heroes. Mm-hmm. I think that's not because they'll disappoint you, but it's because you'll disappoint them. And I want to do a phone-in of where have you humiliated yourself in, which celebrities have you humiliated yourself in front of and how. There'll be thousands of stories out there. As we've found of the past 4 weeks, there's nothing our listeners like more than humiliation of themselves.
Josh Widdicombe podcast. XFM.
I just want to say, Neil, that I've been very rude because I was talking about meeting famous people and embarrassing yourselves in front of them. And I didn't ask you if you had any stories.
I've got many. One this week. You've seen the state of me, Josh.
Well, it's all right. We've got 2.5 hours. Let's pull up a pew and have a listen.
One this week happened because XFM exists in the building with lots of other radio stations. So we get lots of random people coming in and out.
Yeah.
And
drop in a few names.
Emma Bunton, John Suchet,
other
people. Margarita Taylor.
Yeah. But anyway,
There was a door that was kind of slightly closing that I needed to get through, and I had 2 cups of tea.
Yeah.
So I just kicked it open and smashed it straight into Rylan's face. Rylan of Big Brother and X Factor.
Yeah. I know. I'm fully aware of Rylan.
Okay.
He's one of those celebrities like Madonna who only needs their first name because they're so famous. Well, that's exciting. Did he do anything?
There were some high-pitched noises, followed by an apology by me.
Were the high-pitched noises you or him?
Him.
All right. Rylan Clark with some high-pitched noises, his first album, available on CD or cassette. If you've got any stories, we were calling it Never Meet Your Heroes, but I feel Rylan Clark doesn't fall into that category. But if you have got any, at XFM or text us 63936.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
Welcome to XFM on a Saturday morning, Josh Widdicombe. Oh, I gave myself a bit of a kind of excited tone and then caught myself before saying my name then. We are talking about embarrassing yourself in front of a celebrity. Capote has tweeted, I saw John Richardson, always John Richardson, he comes up in a lot of our tweets. Can't think why. I saw John Richardson in a restaurant and was so distracted by his beauty. Capote, have a word. So distracted by his beauty that I walked into a door. He tutted. Now, I don't think that's true. I'm not denying the door. Mm-hmm. Or the tutting. What I'm denying is that Capote is kind of linking them together as if John Richardson's judgmental of people's directional walking abilities. As if he sat there and gone, look at that idiot, can't even walk through a door. Because they're so distracted by my beauty. Presumably, I suppose he sees it all the time because of his utter beauty. He was voted number 2 in Heat's Unlikely Crushes this week.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't chart. And too lightly, mate. Too lightly. We got another one. This is we're doing a league table as always.
Yeah, we can do
an imaginary league table as always. So John Richardson's currently top, or Capote's top with the door. What I'm going to do, I'm going to text John Richardson to ask him if that's true, and hopefully he'll have replied by the end of the show. The next person I can't text because I don't know them. Paul Gem 10, though I don't know Paul Gem 10, but I also mean the celebrity. I once saw Vernon Kay in a bar. I really wanted to talk to him. We've all been there. No one wants to be in the same room as Vernon Kay and pass up the opportunity to have a word with him. Is that Vernon Kay? Well, I'll live to regret this if I don't talk to him. Hi Vernon, how's Splash going? Is it still going, Splash?
It finished, but it's been commissioned for a second series.
Yes. Tempted?
No.
Oh. I once saw Vernon Kay in a bar. I really wanted to talk to him. So I asked him, what time is Friends on tomorrow? He was on T4 at the time. I mean, where to start with that Paul Gem? I mean, that's Paul Gem 10. That is a gem. Yeah, very bit of punnery. What time is Friends on tomorrow? Basically, twisting the knife, because that's a bit of T4 that Vernon isn't involved in. You should say, what time does Friends finish so I can enjoy your sparkling link that you deliver with Makita Oliver or whoever was the co-host at the time. I want to know what can we hear from Paul Gem again, because I want to know what Vernon replied.
Yeah.
Unless he replied 10:35. Also, what's Vernon doing out the night before T4? Take it a bit seriously, Vernon. This is top-level youth television.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
We are talking about when you've embarrassed yourself in front of celebrities. This all comes from my fears of meeting David Baddiel this week. And we've got a response, because let's go back to... Our favourite topper of the league table so far is the person who said, I once saw Vernon Kay in a bar. I really wanted to talk to him. So I asked him what time Friends is on tomorrow, because he was presenting T4 at the time. Which is going to take some beating. But we've had a response to Capote, who said, I saw John Richardson in a restaurant and was so distracted by his beauty that I walked into a door. He tutted. So we've had a response from John himself. A defence. So this is what radio should be all about. The forward and back of ideas.
The right to reply.
The right to reply. Welcome to Points of View on XFM. So John Richardson, according to Heat this week, the second most unlikely crush in Britain, second to Russell Howard. Friends, how bizarre. Anyway, he said, I was just about to read my response to John Richardson.
What was John's response first?
John's response, I put to him, thanks man, much appreciated. So that's what I've replied to this text from John. Sure, I don't remember it, but I'm almost certain that I didn't tut. But if I did, it would have been anger that I wasn't filming it and I'd lost out on £250. Faultless. I mean, what a lovely man. And then he's added, it was most likely a stifled laugh. So John's come out of that smelling of roses, I think. I think if I saw someone walk into a door and didn't laugh, I'd know that I probably didn't have a soul. So I'm backing John on that one. If because we're an open house here at the Josh Widdicombe Show on XFM, you do have the right to reply to that back, and then we'll go forward and back.
Yeah,
for as long as it takes. Other DJs take the day off. We're just doing this conversation. My favourite, see if this tops the league. It goes down because it's from someone whose Twitter handle is official bant. Which is totally unacceptable. We'll plough on regardless. I went up to Chris Martin, presumably the musician, not the comedian. I went up to Chris Martin and introduced myself at an airport. He noticed that somehow I had sellotape in my hair. No one was expecting the second sentence. Now, I'm not saying Chris Martin has the right to reply here, because Chris Martin comes out of that smelling of roses. It's an official band. How much sellotape? Why? Where? So many questions, so little time. That's part of a new feature, which is called famous people noticing my stationery mishaps.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Welcome back to the show, James Acaster.
Hello, Josh.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good week?
Yeah, nice week.
Yeah?
Yeah, went to see a play.
Classic Acaster. You know, culture vulture.
Just a bit.
How was We Will Rock You?
I have seen that.
Have you?
Oh yeah,
Did you
I
enjoy it?
I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. But
Do you like Queen?
No.
But do you like Ben Elton?
No, not really.
Why did you go?
It was my sister's birthday, and we all went as a family.
Oh.
And yeah, it's when I was younger, when we all lived at home still, and every birthday she'd want to go and see a musical. And I always would be really reluctant and really grumpy that I was going.
So do you like musicals?
I think I do, but I just don't think. In my head I go, I don't want to see this, and then every time I go, this is spectacular.
I've got no time for musicals. When they break into song, that's the worst bit. Yeah,
well, really, I mean,
if they could cut that, like music and plays, you can't just combine two things.
No. Evidently.
I also don't
the
like
West End might say different, Josh. They've proved that you really can. It's gone very well.
I also don't like those musical books you get where you press the buttons. We're talking today, James, about embarrassing yourself in front of a celebrity. I'm not even going to say, has this happened to you? Because I'm presuming, as a red, it happens once or twice a week.
All the time.
I mean, if you're not a regular listener, James Acaster just gets in a string of scrapes. His life is an ongoing disaster of kind of sitcom proportions. So, hit me with your best one.
Do you remember Lost?
I do, yeah.
There's a character in Lost.
Hurley?
No, not Hurley. It wasn't Hurley. You'll keep on guessing. We'll go on for ages. There was a character.
You're a big fan of Lost, weren't you?
I was a massive fan. I watched all of it. So I was really.
But I've forgiven you.
Yeah, you still seem past that and continue to be my friend.
I know you've got a heart of gold.
Now you've discovered I'm also a fan of musicals. And, Lost the musical is going to be the best day of my life when that comes out.
Impenetrable.
Yeah. But there's a character, came in about season 2, called Mr. Echo, was his name.
Oh, yeah.
He was my favourite character, and I loved him. And I was doing a gig as part of like a tour with some friends in Nottingham. And I went to meet my sister and her husband in Chiquitos.
Classic.
And
He wasn't in there. I mean,
mate, he was, mate. he was in Chiquitos. But like, my sister loves Lost as well. So me and my sister were chatting, and as we went to leave, I was went, that's Mr. Echo over there. Sat by the door, Mr. Echo's there.
Sat by the door?
Yeah, sat right by the door.
Does he not even get his own little...
No way, mate. He sat by the door with his phone on the table. He was drumming to the Mexican music in Chiquitos.
On his own?
On the table, on his own. Jamming out Mexican music. So I went over to him.
And you managed to turn this into an embarrassment for you rather than for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he really was probably really relieved that this turned out the way it did. But first of all, it went well. I went over to him and I said, mate, I think you're amazing in Lost. Yeah. He was like, thanks very much. That's so nice of you. It was really cool. And then we left. And I went to the gig. And as I arrived there, Josie, my friend Josie, who was on the bill, she went, right, come on, we're going to go for some food. I'm buying. I was like, great, where are we going? She said, Chiquitos. And I was like, I can't go to Chiquitos. I've just been in there and gone up to a man and told him I love him. I can't walk back in there with a different group of people now. And everyone else is like, we're going to Chiquitos, James. We've made up our mind. If you want some food, you've got to come to Chiquitos, otherwise you're not getting anything. So I really panicked about this. I was like, he's right by the door. You can see everyone who comes in. I can't hide from him.
Were you hoping he was going to be lost in the rhythm?
Yeah. I just get in and he's still just drumming on the table, singing to himself. But
by that point, he was doing bass using a fajita.
Exactly. But I said to them, look, I can't just walk in there.
Yeah.
So what happened? What we did was, one of my friends gave me a hoodie. And I pulled the hood up, and then one of my friends gave me a bobble hat, and I pulled that over the hood. Yeah. And I walked in with my head down, and we were there at the door.
Did you eat a second Chiquitos?
Well, I hadn't had a first one. I had drinks, and we actually went to Chiquitos for drinks, me and my sister. I mean, I'm pretty sure no one really does that.
No.
It's not really a place where you go for a swift half.
So just 2 cocktails, please.
Yeah. No, we're not here to eat. It's a happening bar.
Did you send over a Bloody Mary to Mr. Echo?
Send these olives over to Mr. Echo.
He'll love coleslaw.
But so we had to stand at the door and wait to be seated, and the guy came over and said, "I've got one table free. It's right over there. Obviously, it's the one next to Mr. Echo. Right,
of course, it
wouldn't be any other table in the whole thing." I was like, as I said to Josie,
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah, I said we can't sit there. She's just like, well, we're gonna sit there. Stop being a baby. I sat down with my back to Mr. Echo so he couldn't see me. Yeah. I kept the bobble hat and the hoodie on.
Yeah,
and
the police came over and accused you of trying to rob the place.
Yeah. It's got taken out by the mariachi police. But no, I was sitting there, and then basically
what did you order?
I had a burrito.
Yeah, big standard.
A big burrito. And I think we all had some quesadillas to share.
Nice.
But Mr. Echo got up to leave, and he had to squeeze past me, but behind me. So I was keeping my head down and to try to shift my chair forward. And then while I was shifting my chair forward, accidentally I knocked my fork onto the floor. And me and Mr. Echo went to pick it up at the same time. And at that point, we looked at each other, and he saw me, and his face, the fear in his face when he realised I'd come in disguise, was way worse than if he'd just seen me walk in. The fact that you can see the confusion. He had so many questions as to why I'd come in a disguise and brought new people with me. And he was so scared.
Did you say anything?
No, I just kind of looked at him like a rabbit in the headlights, and then he just kind of gave me the fork, and then he just nodded his head and left.
But the irony being that that actually became one of the many twists in the 3rd series of Lost.
I mean, the thing is, he will never know what happened.
No,
but then that
unless
is
he's listening.
The spirit of Lost. No answers to any questions.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
Joined by James Acaster to discuss what we're discussing. Embarrassing yourself in front of celebrities. That's it, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking of it if it had got a cleverer title. I was going to call it Never Meet Your Heroes.
That's good.
And you're leading the league table because you told us a very long story, an embarrassing story about meeting Mr. Echo from Lost, who is an unlikely hero of yours.
Yes, yeah.
Whose teachings you follow.
Yeah, all the time, every day.
Every day. What would Mr. Echo do? That's the bracelet you're wearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Avoid you, it turns out.
Yeah.
Any more tweets?
Chanelio has tweeted in saying, I was in a toilet stall next to Naomi Harris, the Bond girl. Neither
Presumably
of us...
the adjacent stall, not
Yeah. Not
stall. That's a very different.
Sharing the toilet.
Not back to back. Yeah, the Kappa logo.
It's disgusting Kappa logo.
Some kind of vile Kappa logo.
Which actually does look. I mean, the Kappa logo does look like the girls at the beginning of any Bond film. The silhouettes. So it would work quite well. It says, neither of us said a word at the sinks, which I think is only half a surprise. I think the fact that Chinelio didn't say a word, fair enough, but I wouldn't expect Naomi Harris to turn around and go, have you seen the James Bond film? Yeah, that's me. But she adds, but she knew I'd heard her pee, which I think that's standard for anyone in the toilet. Yeah. I always assume everyone heard that.
She also knew she'd heard her because Chinelli was washing the glass she'd been holding up next to the toilet door. Well, that's not embarrassing yourself in front of a celebrity. I think that's acting. Well, no, acting. That's just a description of using a public toilet.
Yeah. I think she's suggesting it's more embarrassing for Naomi Harris, but that is a call of nature. She shouldn't be embarrassed. It's an appropriate place to be doing that.
I realised that this week XFM broke the news, some Bruce Willis stuff on John Holmes' show, but I don't think they'll be in the news that Naomi Harris goes to the toilet. It's revealed.
She does it, and she washes her hands afterwards, quietly, not speaking to anyone.
Yeah, well, I think that Naomi Harris comes out of that smelling of roses.
Yep.
That's not
especially if you use the scented hand soap provided in the ladies' toilets.
Yeah. I want to know what location that was in. It doesn't say.
No, Chinelio, if you're listening and you want to tell us exactly what toilet Naomi Harris likes to frequent.
Presumably there's a blue plaque.
Yeah, there's a plaque there. Above the toilet. Also, someone's written in saying FYI.
For your information.
Oh, thank you very much, Josh. Josh Widdicombe knows all the calls. FYI, the Bare Naked Ladies frontman did a live streaming collaboration recently with an astronaut who was in space at the time.
We'll just make this clear. This is in reference to me wondering what had happened to the Bare Naked Ladies. Right. That's someone embarrassing themselves in front of a famous person.
It's the astronaut.
Yeah, the astronaut goes
singing out of key in space. Oh no, not in front of the Bare Naked Ladies.
In space, no one can hear you sing. That's the problem. Well, I don't know what to make of that.
I think it's good. I think I like it. They've added who was in space at the time, because if an astronaut isn't in space at the time, they're just a normal man. Yeah. Doesn't quite frankly, there's no fuss.
On bass, Buzz Aldrin. This is
Buzz Aldrin's a good name for a bassist.
Buzz Aldrin, yeah. Buzz Aldrin, a soul bassist from the 70s. He's one of those people you'd get in a documentary about Motown on BBC4, Buzz Aldrin, looking haggard.
We all like Buzz Aldrin. Buzz had a groove no one could touch.
One take Aldrin.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM Podcast.
This is XFM and this is Josh Widdicombe, joined by James Acaster. And we are talking about celebrities that you've embarrassed yourself in front of. James has topped it so far with his Mr. Echo story, but also the man who asked Vernon Kay what time Friends was on is running you close. Any more?
Well, here, you'll find this very interesting, Josh. It says, I saw you, Josh Widdicombe.
Oh,
in a pub in Holborn.
Is this from you?
This is me. This is me tweeting it. I told you a story about Mr. Echo. I saw you, Josh Widdicombe, in a pub in Holborn at Christmas, which sounds bang on, by the way.
Yeah, classic wig cakes.
Holborn, Christmas. Josh will be about.
Can I make that clear? Not Christmas Day.
No, obviously not.
That would be a bleak day for both of us. Just the two of us.
Still a pub in Holborn. She says she stared at you a lot while her boyfriend argued you weren't famous and that she was freaking out a stranger. I take it that means her boyfriend was saying it wasn't you rather than you weren't famous and you're not worth staring at. But I
don't know.
I mean, if I was her boyfriend and my girlfriend was just staring at another man all night, I would probably do any argument to stop her from staring at him. I mean,
particularly when it's a beefcake such as myself.
Yeah, it's like, who's that hunk of burning love over there?
Well, I think we can all agree that's definitely the best tweet we will ever have.
Well, she didn't embarrass us.
And I hope her relationship doesn't last much longer because her boyfriend sounds like an idiot.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
We're joined for the third week in a row to round up this week's big news story by the lovely comedian Joe Lycett. Hello, Joe.
Good morning, Josh.
Oh, I was hoping for Vietnam then, but the film wouldn't have been as much a success if it had just been called Good Morning, Josh. How are you?
No, I don't know. I'm all right, thank you. I'm speaking to you live from Dublin.
From Dublin? An
I'm
international
in Dublin
phone
right
call?
now. An international phone call.
Have you made sure we phoned you?
Yeah, you phoned me, so
Oh,
I'm not using a penny minutes. It's fine.
That's good. What are you doing in Dublin?
I'm doing some shows. It's very nice here. There's lots of Irish people around.
Well, who'd have thought
Quite a
it?
few.
Who'd have thunk it? Oh, it's lovely.
It's full of Irish people, Josh.
Is it? Oh, well, that sounds weird.
Riddled with them. Riddled.
Paul McCartney's song "Give Ireland Back to the Irish" has proved to be correct. Then that's good.
Yes.
What are you? How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been lovely, thank you. I can't really remember many of the things I did in it. Do you know, that happens, I don't know if that happens to you, but you sort of do a week and then you think, well, I don't need to bother with that anymore because it's the future now, isn't it? So you forget where you've been. I've been in Dublin. Where else have I been? I was in London for a bit. I've seen some friends. That's all I can remember.
God, you're a jet setter. We're lucky to get you on the phone.
I know, right? Do you know what? One thing I should say, it's my sister's birthday today.
No.
So happy birthday, Beth.
Unbelievable. Cut you off. Unbelievable.
Happy birthday, Beth. It's a conspiracy. They're trying to get rid of me. How old is she? She's 28 today.
Oh, that was tough. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Are you? Oh, that's made me
how
feel
old do you think I was?
30. Made me depressed about my own. No.
How old are you?
I'm 29, Joe. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I thought you were 44.
Do you know? I'm not going to go into that. I was going to go into a really boring anecdote about the lottery numbers. Then, what are you up to? So, but rather than that, let's talk about the big news story of the week. Now,
well, do you know what?
Just to give you an idea of the big news story of the week, last night I had to do a Paralympics-based comedy show on Channel 4, which was a lot of fun in terms of the big news story of the week, so we're not going to talk about that. Instead, Joe, what's your choice of news story?
Well, age is relevant to this news story, and it's a pretty big news story. The Pope, think of him as God's receptionist, is resigning.
Oh,
He's had enough.
Buzz straight through to God.
Yeah, you're going to get a direct line now.
Oh, that's good.
It's because he's stating old age, so that's why I thought age was relevant.
Yeah, no,
but he was
I get the
pretty
link.
old when they put him in the job.
Do you think that's the problem, that they keep employing old guys?
It's not a sensible employing move, is it? No reputable business is going to employ people in their 70s, are they?
Is that why the Catholic Church is having a bad time? They need some young
they've shot
blood.
themselves in the foot. They need young blood. They need some jazzy hipster in their 20s who's ready to shake
you,
things up a
maybe.
bit.
At the young age of 24, are you considering a run for Pope?
I would love to be Pope, Josh. I would really put a spanner in those works.
What would be your first decisions?
My first decisions would be to make me really powerful. How powerful would I be as Pope?
Well, you're pretty powerful if you're Pope. You're God's representative on earth, which is quite powerful.
In which case I'd say, to all of the Catholic people, there's billions of them, aren't there?
Yeah.
I'd say, you are now all my slaves, and you must give up work and just do things for me. And then I'd just do things on a whim, I want some cheese now, and then 1 billion people would bring me some cheese. And we'd fill the Vatican with cheese. Can you imagine, Josh? The whole Vatican's filled with different types of cheese. And then people could come and they could eat different cheeses, and it'd be like a little cheese
fest
factory.
Little cheese
fest.
factory. So maybe that, when you say that maybe the Catholic Church should inject young blood to help it out, maybe you're wrong, judging by your plans.
I don't feel actually like I'm the right man for the job. I've got stuff on.
Yeah,
I
fair
probably wouldn't. It would take up too much time to do this phone call every week, and that would be a tragedy in itself, wouldn't it?
We can't lose you. You wouldn't be able to. Well, Dublin is obviously a very Catholic place. This is where you could start your campaign. So, who are you backing?
Yeah. I don't know. They're all old. There's a lovely-looking guy from Ghana who I think would probably be nice, just because he has a kind face. I can't remember his name.
That was the issue a lot of people have with the last Pope, that he didn't have a kind face.
Yeah, well, no, he did look a bit weird, didn't he? I do feel like all the pictures of him, he's got like that massive hat on, and it must be he's like at his age, it's been a nightmare, like having a big hat and that outfit. Which, because he like at that age, he'll need a wee quite a lot. And going for a wee in that little costume must be. I can't bear to think about how difficult that might be.
I think.
Be unthinkable.
I mean, it is unthinkable. I think if there's any image we want to end that with, it's the Pope going to the toilet. I think, as always, Joe, you've shed a lot of light on what is quite a controversial story.
I like to think so.
I'm certainly seeing clearer now. Thank you very much, Joe. We will see you next week when, hopefully, you won't have been whisked off to the Vatican.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Bye.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast. XFM.